Alright guys, welcome back. Well, we're just returned, but why, you may be wondering, why are we streaming again today? Well, two things. Number one, to show you this new blockers. We have a new update coming soon, immediately after the first one. It's a preview, more costumes, but I think I'll wait for that one day. But we could see others more like it soon. Wonder what else they could add. Now, the other things isn't the reason why I stream. The reason why we stream, we're playing Doodle Empires. We're streaming Doodle Empires again for the third time. Today, we're going to talk about the new year 200. We are going to make a lot of profit. First of all, I did a few things off camera. And the first one, I added savings. But we'll wait till we get to this thing's fully loaded. Now, come on. Now, let me talk about it. First of all, we added major cities to show that this is not ready yet. I'll still lower the volume down just a little bit more so that you can hear me better. So it's not just music, it's this right here. Now, today, we're going to see what happens. We also did another thing. We kind of adjusted the settings, the game settings right here. Now we're going to call this the age of expansion. It's an age where there's a lot of expansion, there's more conflict, unity, and less division. Diverge origin, and there's also going to soon be less new nation. There can't be more new nations, of course. Remember, soon going to happen, but not like that. But we're going to see more unions start to appear, expansions, and a lot more. Now, let's see what we got. And it's Quebec. The Age of Division. Great job, Quebec. You started the Age of Division. The Mushroom Kingdom's next. And they get split. I think it'll be like, yo, you failed. Now we're going to form our own nation. Now remember that igloo or the Mushroom Republic? Let's call this the Mushroom. Well, the Toads Reunion. They're going to form any state right here. And they're going to break away from this original city. They're also going to gain the islands right here and manage to form this new state after the failures of this kingdom right here. We'll call it. They took this island right here. They took more northern lands right here. And it's taken this island and managed to get bordered with the other lakes. And is successful at doing so. The Mushroom City is the capital right now. And it's now time for the next mission. Oh, the Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah, they're going to kind of respond to this. They get a large expand. And they're nation is right here. They took over these few islands, managed to take over this right here, and managed to get right here. Take this full island back right here, and it's starting to take over. Yeah, so I think the Toad's Republic is starting to fail already. Oh yeah, and also, they took back Mario City from Quebec after starting this. And the next one, Brazil. They get their medium expand. They start conquering more of the coast. And managed to do this right here. And start to expand. Try and connect to the rivers and believing that they're on a continent. Now the next power, the Bluffia Islands. They will build a castle. Yes, we got a lot of castles now. And more leaders too, hopefully. So their next castle is going to be called Endo Tower 1. This is the fear of Quebec City trying to gain them with the new Quo City. And now the next state is Mexico. Yeah, they're going to continue their advances through Mexico, gaining these places right here, and almost gaining Mexico City. Right here. They almost gain it, and then they just try to reach out to the tower. And then, after a while, they're now just blocked right here. It's not looking good for Mexico. Now, the Iberian Union, they build a castle. Let's make some war. Liberia wants, their king wants to make a castle right here, called the Strait of Castellani. Strait of Castellani. This is a border to make sure that stays right here. To make sure that their strait stays right here so that they can flow more to their lands. Now, and their king, Norabus, is wanting to create a big empire. So let's see what's next. Morta Chico. And they get a large expand. Now, let's do this. They were signing, yeah, let's unite all our people. Let's try to do that. So they decided to head down south and take out the Chilean government, extinguishing them a lot. They gained this right here, and is now starting to go for more Chile. And they successfully did that. They took all of Chile out. Easy. They now reached the islands right here. So yeah, they're kind of big. So yeah, they aren't the biggest threat, but they're looking like a Japanese empire, kind of, except for Chile. But they did successfully reach the Atlantic, making them kind of like now the largest nation in America right now. They took some of the more flat lands and is starting to reach more of the Amazons. And they took some of the lands right here, but that's it. They are still kind of friendly with this neighbor and just trying to regain more of this. Like it's more of a Latin American empire. Next nation, Union of the Caribbean, and they split. No big surprise here. But for this one, let's make a more golden nation called the Guianas. They managed to form a nation right here, and is starting to advance up here and poses as a big threat to Guyana. Starting to advance right here and manage to successfully turn Colombia into this. The Union of the Caribbean was once an empire stretched right here. It was the purple nation too. So yeah, it's gone. But now, it's left to a shell of its former self. Now, next up, Brazil again. And they split. Now, we should talk about story. Amazonia. Let's call this. Yeah, that's a lot of splits. But that's the reason why it's called the Age of Division. For its big splits. But now it's almost going to be over for them. Amazonia reached out to right here. And now it's this. Yeah, Peru is now probably the strongest nation ever. I think it's now kind of surpassed the power of Crablandia. I think it surpassed the power now. But there is still some good powers right here too. But other than that, this nation is pretty powerful now. With weaker neighbors, even them that are being forwarded, they're now very weak. The Falkland City is there. But now, let's make capitals for them. First capital, Guyana. Since it's going to be more Guyana region, let's make a city right here. Even though they did have more cities right that are probably more populated than it, they're going to make a city called the what is the capital of Guyana? Guyana. The Guyana capital. Georgetown. That's its name. That sounds like an American name, but that's what we're going for. Georgetown. That's its capital. Georgetown. I'm not kidding. That's what's the capital. You all saw it. And as for Amazonia, we're going to call it Wonder City. That's what's going to call it. Now, there we go. Let's see what the next nation is. The Guianas. Let's hope. Oh, they found a religion. Now let's make this like this more like purple religion called Georgism. $211 already. Now we got the North Pole. We're going to draw, and they got a small split. Well, Stan's Empire has now fallen. They're called the Elfish Commonwealth. It'll be like reddish nation upon the coast right here. Yeah, I think we'll call this. Yeah, they are probably elves after Santa just makes up a bunch of stuff. That was a lot of Christmas. But now the only question is, you may be wondering, what could be the population of this place, of the Americans? Alright, let me show you the population. For the Americans, it's probably going to be like 10 million. And right now, there's no city that has a million people. Except for the Krusty Krab. The only cities that are probably going to have a million is the Krusty Krab, and that's it. We know this city, well, this country is going to grow, but the fastest growing state is going to be El Dorado, since it's now kind of a road to the south, as it is becoming a wealthy nation. If we talk about top power rankings as rich states, Peru now has number 1. In terms of military, that'll be number 3 right now, since there will be this red nation right here, and this one right here. The Union of... Yeah, there's kind of 3 big powers. We got Chico, Central Union, and Crablandia. Those are the 3 big ones. Now, so let's just see. The next nation, Brazil. It's going to unite. So I think we'll say they managed to successfully unite with Amazonia. After a trade deal, they successfully unite. Let me see the settings. Yeah, the FPS is still kind of weird, but we'll take it. But anyways, Wonder City might be nerfed to a regular city now. It won't be gone. It's just going to be now Wonder City. Yeah, it sounds like a Wonder Pet City, but we'll take it. But now, Brazil's kind of returned back to its original, like nothing happened. Now, let's see what else. Chico. After a while, they had to have. Now, we're going to bring back the Chileans. They're like, nah. Chile. Yeah, welcome back, Chile. Yeah, Santiago. They're like, yeah, we cannot be working with the Peruvians. We need to bring Chile back to greatness. We need a new hope. Let's try and take back our country. Santiago was going to become their new capital. But after a while, they decided they need a little rebuilding to try and get everything back. So by 2-bit-30, it might return back. But for now, this is not going to be it for now. And yeah, this kind of weakens Peru now, since they do have the power struggle. Well, let's say we need to find out what happened. Let's see. Peru, after raising taxes, they're like, nah, let's try and take them down. Yeah, and this managed to create the Bolivian state, and then after a while, this happened. Peru is now kind of returned back to its small state, but still kind of big, but not too big. Could rival, but now after this road now, they gotta rely on Chico now, or else they're going to lose a lot. So this became kind of a win-win now. Even they lost this war, it did became a kind of a victory now. Because there's some South American countries that need to rely on Chile, or else they're going to have to, even if they raise the prices, they're going to get, they're still kind of unstuck now. And then, yeah, I think they're still a top power still. But now they're just, yeah, California probably surpassed its power. Yeah, but never than that, they're still strong. But anyways, can we get another country? The Iberian Union will unite. They made a decision to decide to create a union between that nation. This is going to be called the African Union. Well, the European Union. The Liberian Union. We're going to call it the European Union. The Europa Union. It's named after the daughter. In our time, Europe was named after a Cyprus woman who was named Europa. In this timeline, it's going to be named after Narva's wife, who was named Europa. And this time, it's kind of like, yeah, we're not going to join them. Yeah, they were united under one thing, common, to make sure they never have to deal with the colonialism of Canada ever again. Now, let's see what else happens. Europa. Yeah. Let's try another. We did well, right? Fine then. We'll just say, let's get started. They join Ludia. And after a while, they're now kind of a grand unit. They're like a grand empire. And let's say it was planned. It was planned. The Bludia or Europa Union. Yeah, let's do this. That is California. Yeah, there is still bugs. Europa. Let me fix this real quick. I'm going to try to fix this. Europa Bludio Union. Yeah, California. We're going to select. And they're going to start the age of conflict. Let's see what happens. Florida is going to get small expand. They discovered Ottawa and they just try and just do this. They want it gone before they could leave, which they revealed their plan is to just leave as fast as possible and destroy some of their enemies before they just get absorbed. Their next one is the Flectania Republic. And their next one is to build a castle right on the border of Quebec. It will be called Chum Tower 2. Oh, there's already a Chum Tower. Both the Krusty Krab owns them. So let's call it Chum Tower 3. Now that's what's going to be called for now. Now I won't change names unless maybe we can do that, because I want to keep it simple and nice. Unlike Petersburg and Moscow, which was called Leningrad right here. Yeah, we're not going to do that, since it'll probably complicate a few people. Unless we need to. Or you guys want me to. Next up, Canada. They're going to try, after discovering that they lost all this land, they're going to try and conquer all of this from them right here. Canada also manages to get some of these islands, reclaim a city, and just like that, this is their... Yeah, they decide to make their capital right here and call it... what? There we go. Now we go. This will be called New Ottawa. Unless we already got New Ottawa. Nope, no New Ottawas. The North Pole's right here. Oh yeah, we forgot the elves. We forgot to give the elves a capital city. Yeah, it's going to be called... called City Beta Grand. That's what's going to call Beta Grand. Soon, they discovered that this is a large nation. Europa, or the EBU. That's what we're going to call it, the EBU. Yeah, Canada, I think it's too similar to this new nation here, so we're going to change it like to this right here, to not confuse anyone of these two countries. Now, let's see who's next. The Rao River Republic. Oh yeah, the one that got Carver Town. And they're going to expand. Now, taking advantage of the rivers, they start to expand down south. They grab Newsburg. And it is now trying to gain more of this Byzantine lands, which now we're going to give them a new name. The Byzantines, but they're not Byzantines. They get access to the river and almost grabs this whole land that used to belong to North Fredland. But then I think we're going to call it a new land. We're going to call them the Armertines, based off the Byzantines, but we're going to call them Armertines. They are now just not the real crab. I've discovered they're not really Crablandia, since they now have the crusted crab now. So they have to respect that now. Even if they don't like it, which they probably don't. They're just chilling in Central America. They now have to recognize it. Otherwise, they're probably going to get a lot. Probably a coalition will be formed, maybe. So now, let's get a new one. The Toads Union. They get a small expand. Discovering that, yeah, they're kind of cooked. they decided to expand more western. Yeah, and first of all, that looks too similar to the colors right here, but let's change that up. There we go. The Toads Union is gone. But now, the only question is, what's going to happen to those cities? Now, the Falkland Kingdom, what do they get? Small expand. Let's say they just want to reclaim some of their land after discovering. Yeah, Peru is gone. It's going to finally gone. They want to reclaim their lost lands. Which Chile probably doesn't like, but they're not. Let's see what they're going to say. And they say no. Because we got the North Pole and they're going to expand. Now, let's say it just takes all these islands and almost bankrupts Beograd very greatly after discovering, yeah, that they were trying to betray Santa. After discovering that they tried to betray Santa, they head to Beograd, land at a few cities, and are about to take over Beograd. And took a lot else with them too, so yeah, they kind of lost everything in a way. Beograd, why did you try to mess with the North Pole? Now anyways, the Elfish Commonwealth. Yeah, they will be like, yeah, we're cooked. So let's start a civil war. Yeah, this is going to be kind of similar to this, like Elfish rebels. Yeah, they knew they were done. They're like, we had enough of you, so we're going with them. They even took half of the capital. Yeah, this is how bad it is looking for Beograd. They took all of this cities. They don't even border them anymore because they know they're cooked. So yeah, Beograd, Elfish rebels, the Elfish Common. They knew the Elfish Commonwealth is gone. They knew it's gone. And now, the North Pole's back. It's going to unite. And so, they're going to make them join. With those things, the Elfish Commonwealth finally surrenders. But strangely, the rebels do not. They still probably want Bayland as their own city. So, we'll see in a few years. Now the Falkland Kingdom's back. And they got Mymy expand. They managed to join up the river. They got this right here. They managed to expand through the river and then start to advance more north. And also now take over, split them in two, and most likely upsetting them. But let's see how they will react. Oh, Chile. What did they react? Yeah, bam. You lost. You're losing a meal. Yeah, they're like, yeah, nah, you're staying down. You're staying down. That was bad. Bad, Fox. Bad. And now, they managed to gain a lot. Yeah, Chile is luckily becoming big and bigger. Now the next nation. The armor teams. They finally managed to snap. And they were like, yeah, we're going to try to take him down. And they start having a new purpose to try to take down. They managed to start taking out Borough and split the capital by a river and the borders. So yeah, this kind of damaged central Canada a little bit, but to be honest, are they going to do anything? No. Their origin comes from now. Karma, the Rao River. Next up, the Mushroom Kingdom gets a medium expand. They're like, yeah, this is why you get Quebec. We take this, and now they're going to try to take down more of the Mushroom City and claiming it as theirs. Now, with this conquest, they are now trying to take back their rightful lands that belonged to them. Now the Mushroom City is kind of more doomed than ever. Now, this is managed to recover. Karma. What do they get? Oh man. Karma, wants a reformation of a new nation. They want to create a new entity. They call it Lasan Tamam. They call it from something like, probably, we're gonna make the Dave Nation. We're gonna call it the Plant Union. It was formed after a bunch of plants. It's formed after Dave became leader of a nation. That's probably going to try and believe that they are trying to become flawed. So the Plant Union revolted on this nation and take control of its bad neighbor and decided, we need to do something about this. We need to be great again. They took over this and took the last remnants of the we're going to call it the Byzantines for now, but they took less of this, and they took the coast of the original nations of Alaska, cutting it in two, technically, for Washington. But now they got two of the cities, and then it just made a new nation in Alaska, which we'll call this Naperville. If you know Naperville, good job for you all. You know games better. We got Naperville. Now this is becoming more expansive. Next up, Crablandia is going to unite with a new nation. And I think it's finally time. Crablandia is going to unionize with the Byzantines and create Grand Crablandia. They announced it on stage in a nation between right here. We're going to call this, we're going to say it's Atlanta, but not Atlanta. that they managed to successfully unite Crablandia again. Now they call it Grand Crablandia and express their plans to retake all old lands, which now kind of feared the Central Union. So now that Perugia's fall, they now have no powers tracing them. Now, the Europa-Bludian Union, it gets a small split. So I think after the failures of this new union, I think a nation isn't gonna like this. We're gonna call this Ireland or Ireland. Let's say it just forms after the dislike of the union. Scotland joins. Well, they're not going to do much because it's Ireland and they don't do much. But what does happen is that Iceland joins, which was, yeah, the European Union's favorite spot, but, well, womp to them. So now, they lost a lot of land. So, the Ireland Empire, we're going to call it the Irish, or what should we call an empire? That is kind of a democracy, though. The Irish Conservative. That's what's going to be called for now. The Irish Conservative. And its capital will be right here. It's going to be called Lucky Charms. That's what's going to be called. Lucky Charms. Hope you like those heart stars, horseshoes, rainbows and balloons, unicorns, all that type of stuff. Hope you like that in Ireland. Next up, Beastland. Well, they didn't do anything now, since they started the second age of division. Now let's see who's next. The Q Empire. They're going to found a religion. And I think this religion is going to be called Qism. Now that Gay got that, the North Pole's next. It's going to unite again. Beta-Grad, they found the Elfish rebels, after seeing the Christmas spirit, decided to unite with them again. Now, the next nation, Karma. Where's Karma? Karma gets a little advantage again after Shay. Some are still there. They're like, yeah, we do not want this. So yeah, some of them are now becoming a civil war. After discovering, yeah, there's still some right here. Now, the next nation is the Irish Conservative. Yeah, and this was expected. Another one that was pretty much Scottish forms a new republic, they believe, to be the Scottish Republic. Because they're like, yeah, the Scottish Kingdom, they want to form their own. They're like Scotland forever. Yeah, and this managed to make a new, and it could be the start of the new Europe. It will be a start for incredible. And they also took the Irish. Well, they also took Iceland too, which now probably makes tensions with the Europeans now more tense. And they also kind of now have an enclave right here. So yeah, this is now got more interest. Now, let's use next. Mexico. They get expanded. After this war, they managed to regain this right here. And in an attempt, they managed to regain these cities right here. Let me try to get these small pixels. There we go. Those are pixels. Now, next up, Falkland Kingdom. And they're they're doomed. They got split. Yeah, and I feel like they're going to pray the Argentine. Named after Argentine, they decided, yeah, we need a change. So they decided, yeah, let's make a new revolution. Let's try and take down the Falklands. Yeah, and this kind of goes good until they stop. Right there. But their capital right now will be right here, called Argentine City. Yeah, original. But I know. There's no capital. Argentina. Well, Argentine comes from right here, not here. Argentine the Great. Well, now, this is what Europe, well, the South American continent looks like now. And the Argentine Empire's back. And people don't like it. There is now more disapproval from the Argentines. So much disapproval, they want to make a new. The Argentine Supremists. It's led by a group called the Argentine Supremists, who is so against the king, they just want to take him down, but also wanted to keep the nation formed. Yeah, they kicked him out of their city, and is starting to take advantage of many things. Yeah, first of all, this looks similar to Chile's, but let's change the color a little bit. Because it's probably going to be Chile Bay star. Now, the next one, California. It gets a new leader. His name is Zenless Ahmed, and is a flatland. Now, its goals is want to reclaim a great empire again. It does not want to try to be a colonialist again. Instead, they want to become a major power, getting the coast of not only California, but to also so-called rival the South American continent, and rely on it every time. Now, who's next? The Rival River Civilization. Yeah, it's starting to fail. And this also gets some civil wars back. It's called. Yeah, they're going to be called Karma Revolts. It gets a split so big. Yeah, this is kind of big. So now, they kind of are well, cooked, of course. So now there's two karmas. So yeah, this is going to be called the Karma Union, which claims that they are karma, while this one was like the karma. We'll call this Karma 1 and Karma 2. Karma 2 claims that they are the original karmas and that they should help Central Canada, but then they were like, we're karma. And also, I'm leader, said you ain't. And how long now? It's like, no, I'm leader. I'm leader. I'm leader. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying that they are the leaders, but they're not. But there's both leaders. So yeah, this kind of diverged the Karma Unit to be a different state. Well, not different state, but more like now that they are not going to fight for them now. Or unless they could. But now we got the Plant Union, and it does a large expand. Its goals is to try and get to and reclaim a good coast. And their first attack is on Alaska. Now, it reclaims a big chunk of it. Alaska falls immediately to the Plant Union. Now, rivaling this both big coast, and then believing they could be Alaska. Even though now Alaska owns this left. And they're also called Washington now. So let's just rechange it to Washington. Now, who we got next? The Union of the Caribbean. Who are they called? What's their next move? Oh, okay. They kept getting so much L's after L's. Now, let's call this Venezuela. They're like, yeah, we're tired of your losses. We're farming our own nation. Definitely, hopefully, that this leader does not get kidnapped. Hopefully, that does not get kidnapped. Yeah, this, if you are a Union of the Caribbean supporter, I'm sorry. You're losing. Yeah, Peru doesn't like you. Well, Peru does like you, just not in the friend way. And you got two nations that revolted from you. Yeah, so yeah, you're kind of cooked. Crablandia is now in you. Crab is. Now let's see who we got next. Karma now. Original Karma. Gets a new leader. And it's Nakota. And they're kind of cooked now. Desert Nomad. So yeah, they're kind of cooked now. But the Plantania Republic will adopt a religion. And I think they're going to re-adopt. Alright, they're not going to adopt Alright, if you want to see a religion that, here's what it looks like so far. All the red is their religion. This dark religion. Alright, but first of all, after a while, yeah, a leader. The leader decides, yeah, we're going to create a unite. We're going to reunite Planktism. Yeah, we're going to call this. We're going to reunite with the old Planktism. We're going to adopt this religion, and Planktism is united once again. This is due to the enemy of the crabs. They're now Planktism, algorithm, shade and belief, Indiaism, which is pretty complicatedly popular in Canada. Indiaism, Trusteeism is the most. It was the most. Yeah, we also made a mistake too. It is called Crustyism. That is what it's called. Yeah, we did that mistake. So it's going to be called Crustyism. And this is the oldest faith, is Crustyism. It's like 246 turns, so that's kind of old. It's like a main character of their religion. Will they ever come back? We don't know. But now, it's time for their next turn. The Scottish Kingdom. What's going to happen to them? They get a new leader. And they're kind of cooked now. So let's see who's next. The Central. Yeah, they start the Age of Conflict. Now, let's draw a card. Brazil is going to start a union. And that union is Guyana's. So yeah, now Guyana is united. And this becomes a great opportunity now to take advantage of it. They're probably now the next Brazil. Next Central Europe. Well, the Union of the Caribbean. Let's call them Caribbean. Let's call them the Caribbean for now. Let's now go ahead and find who's next. And I forgot about that bug. Sorry. Now, let's see what you got for you. A new leader. Well, Tundra Walker. Beetle. Now, Europa Bluda Union. They discover a new youth. They call it. Their next unit is called. They're going to abandon the old religion and probably form a new religion. It will be called Europeanism. That is probably what we're going to call it. Europeanity. 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 That's what we're going to call it. That is what we can manage to call it now. Europeanity. Now, next nation, the Scottish Kingdom. Yeah, they're going to form a union with the Irish Conservative. Yeah, we got more updates on Europe now. So pretty good. Now the Central Union. And they get a large expand. And they decided after a while, let's lock in and take out Mexico. They finally captured the capital and are starting to try and destroy Mexico once for all. And they are now kind of like this new power. And who are they going to? Yeah, Mexico just falls instantly. Yeah, there's no hope for them. Yeah, they're doomed. As the last Mexican troops enter this area, they keep going and going. And then, after a while, the last Mexico troop has fallen. And Mexico's story ends there. Now a moment of silence for Mexico. And there was something now that happens. When they celebrate in the new Mexico DC, well, gunshots happen. And they believe the Orange Nation is trying to fire at them. So they go after them. And it was not gunshots. They thought it was a gang. So they took out the gang. And California was like, nah, you need to be taken down. So yeah, next one. Venezuela is going to build a castle. It's going to be called Maduro Tower 1. Between the edges of this right here, yeah, they're kind of getting with this. Yeah, they're pretty cooking. I think I still cook too much, so yeah, let's start with that. In the Central Union again, they get a medium expand. First of all, they took them right here. In discovering the Hawaiian Islands, they took that as well. The Central Mexican Union now takes a landing on the Baja Californians, as they believe they're now the New Mexico. Now they start their war on the Californians. Now the Planktania Republic is finally going to do something. Now let's talk about Plankton. A strategic strategy was made, as the Planktons were trying to struggle with this, but after a while, they managed to land in here. Yeah, this was a trick by the Planktons to unite their ideology, their religion, into something big that they thought they could try to take down the Red Nation. But no, it was just a trick. Their trick managed to work, and they successfully captured Plankton Box. Or Plank Box. And they they quickly gained some land to link up with the border. And surprisingly, the Red Nation allowed troops go in. But they're still not going to be friends though. Why not? Because we don't know. Old rivalries, let's say. The old rivalry is probably between Plankton and Mr. Krabs from the start of the series were not good. They become fry cook enemies, steal each other's formulas, and now it became war now. And now they're going after another state, which they probably won't care. They took these lands and link up to the lakes right here and are starting to take over Minnesota. They reached the city of Minnesota and are about to retake it. And then this happens. They run out of money and then just left. So now the city's evenly divided. In a way. Oh yeah. There we go. Now, they did capture Minnesota now, look. And now they have a bigger border with the Great Lakes. But Plato the First was kind of a joke. Now, the next nation, Brazil, is now getting a large expand. They reached Uruguay and is starting to expand a lot. And now they're kind of like, alright, if we bring this 10,000, 6,000, 4,000, 10,000. These two countries are the biggest of them all, but we cannot judge that right now. Now, the next nation. California. What do they respond? Build a castle, of course. They do it there strategically. They build it called Sand Castle 1. They want to make sure that they don't want to lose right here. Castle Barrel. Well, there's now 2 Californian castles. And also, there's also this castle right here, which Plato will probably want. Well, the Platanian Republic probably wants those back, but sadly, they're not allowed to have back since Travelandia is their secure. But now, we're back with Chile, and they get a large expand. They now focus more on right here, and also they want to secure the borders on a war. So they took down a lot of the Argentines. They also took a city right here and start taking them down. Yeah, rip Argentina's rebellion. It will always be missed. And then took some land from the Falklands, but not all of it. And now 260. The Chileans managed to successfully regain the ability to move their city back to Santiago. So Santiago will be returned as a capital. And now central Chile will no longer be a capital. It will now become a major city. So yeah, we got central Chile, the Argentine city. It will be nerfed down to right here. To the Argentine city down south. Oh yeah, and also we will pick some of the capital cities later. But right now, we're going to keep it like that. And also, those 2 cities in Mexico are going to be dual capitals. Why is that? Because this is more like central unit. Now they changed their name to Central Mexican Union, or the CMU, or we could just make it something like the MCU, Mexican Central Union. Yeah, this is called their new Central Mexican Union. Now, their next target, the Royal River Civilization. And their next is going to be expand. They're going to continue trying to expand, trying to get out of here. Because they knew they're going to be dead pretty soon. They're going to try to escape to Alaska. Next up, California. And it's building another castle. This one is going to be pretty easy. They're going to build another castle right here called Sandcastle 2. That's what it's called. Sandcastle 2. Beastland, its final return, and they're going to come back with vengeance. And what are they going to do? They're going to try taking this land, some of these lands back. They took these lands right here, cut off Quebec, and now took an island from Canada, of course. And is now taking back New Autumn. And it's starting to take over all Canada back. And they'd be like, I have one question for God. What? That is what they're thinking about right now. They are now so scared that this will be their end. But is it their end? Probably not. Or maybe it is. And it's not. Yeah, this is all they have left. 3, 6, 7, 5. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 32, 33, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, there might be a pixel short, but yeah, Canada is now officially the smallest state after Beastland took it back. But interestingly, there's no blue nation now. But let's head and switch things up. Beastland again. And they get a new leader. He's divisive and a hill low. Let's hope this doesn't ruin their nation. Let's hope it's a cliche. And I think Mr. Beast is now retired. But where does Mr. Jimmy retire at? Probably right here. Now, let's see. Oh, the Toads Union. Let's see. Yeah, they get a large expand. They decide to try to fight back, but they don't do that. Since that's not their plan. Their plan is to meet up right here, and they did a troll move on Newsburg, which they now cut off Newsburg from the other places of Canada. And they continue moving up north and reach the hills. And they start conquering lands right here. This kind of becomes a troll move, and that Newsburg is kind of dead now, in a way, maybe. That they might be dead. And they got mad, too. So, because they wanted to go up north to get away from Canada, of course, but right now they're not going to survive right now. Now the North Pole, and they get small expand. Let's say a land deal was made. In exchange, they managed to give them some North Pole lands. Yeah, let's call them the EBU decided to give them some lands. In exchange, they give them Christmas presents very early. Very early. Now that they want to make it. Next up, the Falkland Kingdom. They get a large expand. Great. They managed to go up north. They just managed to make a giant counterattack, which kind of ruins Chile now. And so they're kind of cooked out again. And once again, making Chile great. And we got the return of the Q Empire. They are going to form a unit in order to try to take down Quebec. They unite with the islands and they form the empire. The Q Empire has now grown great and could take over any of these lands. Now, back to the Rao River civilization. And a new nation is going to be formed. Yeah, this is probably what they're going to fear about. Probably what they were fearing in the first place. A new blue nation will be called the Will now. The Will now. Let's say it's going to be a nation that's formed between these two. It's going to be called the Alaskan Movement. Let's call it the Canadian Alaskan Movement. Let me see the province real quick. Canada provinces. Let's see. Let's see. Yukon. The Yukon province. Let's call it the Yukon movement. It will start way down south. It's not just formed down south. It's formed by a nation of up here. Some of them right here. And they start to revolt on Newsburg. And now they are very small. And the Yukon movement has kind of worked. And they form a city right here called Yukon City. The Yukongrad. We'll call it Yukograd. Yukonia. Or Ukrainian Union. That's what we're going to call it. The Ukrainian Union. So far, we got a lot of diversity in Canada. The United States. I was expecting more diversity in the United States. but Canada looks like a war zone. Alaska is split too. These islands became nations. Surprisingly. Now the next nation. Oh, come on. The Falkland Union. We're gonna call it that for now. Yeah, I'm crashing out right now. How did this happen? The Yukon Mountains. But anyways, the Ryle River Civilization. It started the age of conflict. And they surprisingly crashed out and have a small advance. Which barely did anything, but still it crashed. The Karma Union was like, yeah, you're both going down. And they start advancing up here, taking the land right here. And it's starting to cause their kingdom, well, these rebels and this kingdom to collapse more and more. So the Karma Union is kind of succeeded, while the Karma State has lost its own sig. Now, the next one, Venezuela, gets a new leader. He's peaceful, so yeah, they're kind of they're being chill guys. And Quebec is going to expand. They're going to take advantage of their weakness. Oh, what? Yeah, I'm fixing this real quick. What state is this? Quebec? Let me get stuff real quick. Let me fix this real quick. Yeah, let me fix this real quick. Nope. Yeah, I'm tired. That was a total mistake. Yeah, I guess we gotta restart now. Come on. Guess we gotta restart now. Gotta restart. I guess we gotta restart. Come on, bud. Clap. We gotta restart. Come on. Alright. I want you. Let me fix this real quick. Here we go. But good news is, Ludia's now alive again. Bad news. We gotta start off. And it's not there. Let me just fix this. Year 200. There's no more. Oh. Okay, that was strange. So yeah, this isn't it, but now we're going to try that again. We're going to throw it back again. We're throwing it back. Alright. Peru's gone. Alright. I should make a timestamp, which I probably am. So let's try that again. Now, day 1. Beastland. Beastland starts the age of conflict. Puerto Chico gets a large expand, and they start advancing to Chile. Now Chile is kind of a weak nation. Now they start to target part of the nation, and has managed to successfully kick them out of the nation. These successfully go down south and started to reacquire some of those lands, and is now kind of a more bigger power now. They kind of are now like the biggest nation now. Yeah, they are now surpassed Ludia. As this is probably now a Latin American empire. Now the Planktanian Empire, what do they get? Large expand. Yeah, in this timeline, they successfully managed to make a counteroffensive up the river and successfully taken out some of the cities. Planktanian Empire is successful at their games. They managed to successfully gain right here the river. It is now attempting to take back the Chum Bucket. And they did that so successfully. And now they rule with an iron fist now, which some of the people did not like. They wanted to prefer freedom over justice. And now they lost that freedom. Although the tensions with crabs they're bad, they're now going to probably get a way worse for enemy. Even though it will be weakened, they got the Chum Bucket back. So now, this is now their greatest rival now. Alright, now, the Planktanian Empire is the real empire of. So that they believe they should unite back. Now the next nation, Florida. Yeah, Florida. They're going to expand larger. And they managed to successfully launch an offensive to Nigeria and managed to gain this islands. They made a landing with the boats, gain all of Nigeria. It successfully created a trade empire in the lake. And now they own Nigeria's coast. And now, they now have all of this. Florida is turning into a 10,000, but right now it's not. And the Q Empire is going to strike again. This time, they're going to strike near right here. As Canada is probably on its last legs. Most likely. And now they just decided to strike all right here and take the coast and split in Quebec, the Quebecian Empire too. Yeah, I need to read better and look at the colors better. So now we have the next one is the Bluffy Islands. They get a medium expand. And taking advantage of Quebec's weakness, they successfully made a big counterattack, taking some islands right here and capturing the city of Quebec. Which now kind of probably fractures Quebec a lot. Yeah, but there is some cities right here. There has to be. They were so small, I couldn't even see it. Where is it? Quebec is somewhere. We gotta find it, but soon. For now, let's just... Oh, there's Quebec. It's... You're the one. You're the one. You're the one that messed up this whole run to maybe go back. You know what? Oh, it's a union. Yeah, the Quebec Empire was like, yeah, we're done. We're joining. We're union. We're giving the government back. And Crustyism is alive once again. So now, they need a new plane to take down these two towers, which maybe are working together, maybe not. We don't know. And the Platanian Republic is responding, and it's kind of big. They're now responding after they saw Chumbucket is falling. They've asked for land. They retook the Chumbucket back from this crust, well, from the Platanian Empire, and they hope that this never ever happens again. Wink. Now, they managed to get they managed to probably get a lot of land from. They successfully managed to launch a defense here, but also a little mission with the Krusty Krab. And a secret mission also happens with the Krusty Krab, where they just take all of Minnesota and some parts of this right here. So yeah, this happens because it was done by the Krusty Krab, and is right now trying to take out more of its officials. Now, with Plague Box on its last legs now. Did they gain more or did they gain less? To me, I think they gain less now, after a while. They now split it into, now, who's next? Canada. Canada gains a new leader. And they're cooked. No way they're going to win. The Q Empire is back again. Who did they do? Made him expand. Yeah, after a while, they discovered, yeah, this guy is scared. They gain all these lands right here. And surprisingly, Florida does not respond. And Beastland was like, what are you doing? Your territory. It's, yeah, I know. I'm dead. So yeah, they know they are dead. They just don't care. Which is probably going to be the reason why Quebec is going to die anyways. So yeah, the next one is Karma. They get a medium expand, and they quickly regain the Byzantines, and is kind of expand up more north, where they can just survive for being taken out. So yeah, they decide to head up north and then try and take it off. Take as much as possible. Take some rivers, and then mark. And then finally, they manage to link up to a river. And now Alaska stands united once again. The next nation is Beastland, and they get a small expand. And them fearing that they're going to be taken over, they decide quickly take the river down south and quickly try to get more of New York so that they can try to retake Beastland, which they still don't care. Why do they not? The reason is they're wanting to move more to Florida right here. Since they do not care. But you know who does? The Q Empire. Because, yeah, you're gone. So yeah, they're now kind of doing now. It's no point in trying. Yeah, the Q Empire is more doomed than the movie of Doomsday. Yeah, there is scared of this right here. Now, the Royal River civilization gets a small expand, or a large expand, which they gain all these cities right here, and is now successfully claimed all of this right. Town successfully been done. They also decide to connect themselves on the river, which could go less well, but it is what, well, it did go successfully, just not very costly. Now the next one, the Britannia Republic gets a new leader. And it, Pocahontas, that's from the movie? Yeah, she's either going to break Britannia, or it's going to make it a better nation. We'll find out one day. Now, the next one. Now, the next nation are the English, which we'll call England. We're going to select them, and a new nation is going to be formed. Let's make some lore for this. After a while of being part of. Let's see if it's. Let's make it like a red orange. Does this look? Let's make this more like orange, like this. Then will become the Dutch. The Dutch will be formed. After a while of the tax booths being raised, they're like, I am done. We need a new nation. The Dutch Commonwealth is founded. Under justice and a formation of just like in Belgium, yeah, they decided to form the United Dutch Republic. becoming the first republic, technically. A first republic of people. Yeah, their leaders can change, but also, most likely, evolved. They formed right here. They managed to gain all this. More of Germany right here. And now, they are now the most strong. They also gained all of Norway's down south and Sweden's coast. This nation is already looking kind of powerful, especially in the early century. So now, this is what Europe looks like. We got a powerful nation now, right here. Now, let's do this. Alright, that is not England. That is Ludia. Alright, why is this bug? I'm not going to try to curse, but this does. Do not turn into good. Yeah, it why? Yeah, this was close. Oh my gosh. They got the 4 letters. Alright. Because guess who I was about to name? Yeah, the Dutch is cooked. You're cooked, Dutch. Say goodbye, Dutch. Guess who you got as your leader? Let me tell you who it is. You got this person right here. You got you got this rat right. This rat. Yeah, no way. If you don't know who she is, your nation's cooked. Your nation's cooked. I'm not joking now. You're jokingly cooked. Yeah, see you later. Who's next? Mexico. Yeah, you are. Oh no, Mexico got into another civil war after resolving it. The Mexican, we're going to call him the Mexican crab. The Crabtals. It's a formation of nation right here that successfully took out the tower and has 2 of the major cities. Its goal is to try to become an independent nation. And Mexico City, Mexican Crabtals. We need another new name. Mexican. We're not going to call them any controversies like ISS or like Frozens. We're not going to call them any controversial names. We're going to call them Mexican Easterns. Mexican Easterns. Now, Karma's back. It's Karma, boy. Now, we got this one right here. We got this one right here. And finally, this is what Karma now is. karma is back. Now it's time for we got England again. England is going to get a large expand. After they discovered the Dutch were behind this scheme, with the leader Mymy, they took out the Norways. They went to they grabbed some Dutch islands, well, these Danish islands. They burned down Amsterdam, which almost ended Mymy, but now they also took Brittany because it's Brittany, and then they just want to take down all of this, right? They want to make sure this whole French coast is secured, so they managed to do that successfully, so that they don't have to be dealt with by the Dutch. Well, good news and bad news. Good news is you reached this. Bad news, the Dutch are now upset at you, and now Mymy treats you like a Belgian. So now you're good. Yeah, it's gonna be like Titan. You know what? Here's a Japs there. Yes, it's until she's gone. She's gone. Better get an election to remove it, or else. North Crablandia. What's going to happen? Medium expand. They're going to try and take out most of these enemies, discovering that they are not L walkers, and that they are still the great powers they are. Even managed to connect to here into this river. Now I have to cross two rivers. Yeah, I think my voice start cracked up, but now the next one. Ludia. They get small expand. Yeah, they get some islands right here. And now, this is what Ludia is becoming. They decide to start focusing on more of what this is. And maybe did some real colonization, but that's it. Florida. Florida is back. And they started the Age of Unity. Now let's start with Central Canada. They get a medium expand. So, let's say it was like this. They took out this island right here, and they started to remove their priors. We'll be right back.
Can you empty the dishwasher? Come on.
I'll just pause real quick.
And then I'm gonna take.
Be right back, everyone. I was doing dishes, but we got back. Oh, hello, Tommy GK. Yeah, I couldn't see you real, but I think I'll try to make it like I wanted to find a way to get fixing, but right now let's try doing something like this. Now resume and let's see where we're at. Alright, more central Canada, but expanded more north, and took back some of its lands right here too. It also reconnects to its lakes right here, and we kind of got a return of this city. Oh yeah, and also, Karma isn't fully dead. There's an enclave right here that still believes they are part of it. Now, next city, Mushroom Kingdom. It's going to found a religion. And it's going to be called Peachism. This is what we call it. Their next one is North Crablandia. Both sides unite. With itself, called Grand Crablandia. It will be called a new nation called Grand Crablandia. It is a nation that's been recently been re-established as itself. And Crablandia is fully united back once again under a good influence. Now it's now resurfaced. Now let's see what California is doing now. It now gets a large expansion. Believing that they now fear an attack on Doodle. They believe they should reunite California back. Well, their belief is just to get resources, of course, and to reunite its grand empire, and manage to reach the coast over here, and also retake all of Hawaii, and believe they should challenge the dominance up here. They managed to regain all these lands, and now they managed to gain a major city right here, another one here, and they stop. The Iberian Union is going to unionize with a nation to finally form the Western European Union. Now, we managed to brought the European Union back. But hopefully, for the last time, please do not let there be a union with Doodle. Yeah, I didn't like this anyway, since I think Ludia should have been staying independent. Now we got this new nation back. It's going to be called Europa. Yeah, Europe is now kind of like this now. The Dutch Commonwealth also kind of hates the European Union. It's now going to be called that. But in reality, it's just another layer in it. Now, the Dutch Commonwealth. And there's going to be another one. And we're going to form Rome. This will become a nation that's from mix of both English and Dutch. After seeing the European unite, they decide, you know what, let's form a nation that's going to bring us greatness, power, and all that above. They form Rome. It was formed along these rivers, along right here. They believe they should have what they need. They call themselves the Roman Order. Greece is now part of it. They managed to conquer all of this right here. Greece, Bosnia-Herzegovina, all of these nations right here. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not notice here. But anyways, the Roman nation managed to complete for the Iberians now. And since and now this is a new country. Now who do they not like and do they like? First of all, they respect the Dutch for their hatred on this. So they are kind of neutral upon. Unlike, they're very peaceful, and Elena is the lead. They're mostly peaceful and then theirs. Now, the next nation, Crablandia, is going to make them unionize with another. Now, who are they going to unionize with? And there is one simple answer. It is... There's no simple answer, actually. But, because California, they're a colonial empire. They don't want to do anything like that. This one right here is not them. They don't want to unite. They're an important character, kind of terrorist enemies. Kind of not enemies, but neutral. They don't have any good feelings, nor bad. Which leaves the Mexican Easterners to finally unite. Which proves the fury of Mexico, believing that they should be the ones to unite. Now, let's use next. The European Union. They get a small expand. They link up to right here. They liberate Liberia and manage to contain all the rest of Iberia. Everything becomes... They also expanded more north up here. They don't hate the Brit. The Brits don't like Japs, the Dutch, but the European Union does not like, well, they don't like them, but they treat them with more respect. Now, the Central Union. They're going to unite with Mexico. After a while, Mexico was tired and they just surrendered. It was more like a surrender than a union, but now it's more like this now. Mexico is looking a lot united compared to Canada. Well, it is still divided, but compared to the rest, it's more united. Next up, Karma's back. Now, they expanded more. They got a large expand. They connect to the rivers right here and start to expand more and more north. And now, they expand a lot more north. So they just claim all of Alaska. And now, they're kind of like Alaska now. We got Rome now, and they do some small expansions. They managed to link up with this right here, and also to expand more there. They don't want to upset anyone, so they just go their own ways. And now, the Romans, they're kind of like this entity right now. So Rome is now here. The Dutch are here. And now there's the European Union. Interesting for a thumbnail, so let's see about that. Now, Beastland. What's Beastland gonna do? Build a castle, of course. Jimmy Tower. Yeah, this will be called Jimmy Tower. Now who's next? Alaska. Alaska is going to form a new nation. There's kind of like a new nation now, right here. And it's going to be formed in the base of what we could call Lance Core. This the Plant Corporation. Or we'll call it Planco for short. So this is the new name, and this will be the new borders. Alaska managed to get a lot done. They managed to successfully get all these islands right here. And claim the rest of the unclaimed territory. Successfully united these new nations. So yeah, now we got all this down, and they managed to go through the river, captured all those islands right here, and then they just stop. Repeat. So yeah, Alaska's kind of cooked now. And the leader's name is Dave. We know. So yeah, it's time to give it up, Alaska. You're done. But now, the Americas kind of complete, except for Greenland. But now, let's see who's next. Quebec. What does Quebec do? They get a new leader. Anna, Peaceful, and Jean. The Falkland Kingdom is who I found a new religion, of course. It's called Falkanism. Falkanism. Now, the age is gone. It's the Falklands again. They're going to unite. They're going to unite with themselves. Now, see, let's see if this works. They united with themselves, since you can't really unite with anyone. Next up, Rome. They get medium expand. So yeah, their goals is try to take over as much as Europe as possible. Well, not Europe, but will like get as much land as possible. Which they decided to get without offending any nation's stability. Which now is what Rome looks like now. And Rome again, they formed a new nation, which I think we'll call this. We're going to form a new nation that will most likely become familiar. Now this came from prisoners of the Roman Empire, of the Roman nation. They were forced under Carthage prisons, but after a big prison break, that was kind of disastrous for the Romans. They escaped to Libya and founded hope. They founded a new nation. They do become the first nation to connect to Egypt, to Africa, and a lot more. And also took Cyprus, some of these, and some of this Turkish land too. So now we're kind of now got almost every single continent now. With Asia's going to be probably the biggest to come. So now let's see who's next. The Platania Republic. Let's see what happened. Oh no! Well, they're kind of done. Yeah, we're cooked. Right. Yeah, this is now probably a thunder rebellion. After a while, this will be called the Platanian Socialist. This becomes the first People's Republic. The Plankton's People's Army's Republic, or the PPAR. Now, this will be formed after the armies up. So yeah, they're kind of cooked. So yeah, and they also took control of the Chumbucto again. Blacktania is kind of cooked. But who send those rebels? Because the referee is not familiar to theirs. First of all, they don't send any. Yeah, this doesn't send any. They don't send any. Since they're trying to help them out and what they don't like. So who did it? Well, if you don't know, Miami, Minnesota, and there is a nation that doesn't like them, and that is the Hue Empire. Their goal is to try to weaken it, and they reveal their true selves. Wait. They revealed themselves as Platanian cubes. The Platanian cube unionizers. They are the enemy nation. And this also kind of fears both sides of this war. Because now there's kind of like an enemy you got. There's now an enemy right here that both the Empire and the Planetanian Republic have fears, which is the Planetanian Q, which are now kind of working with this. So yeah, this is becoming a power struggle and a mess that the Grand Crablandia might or might not get involved. So let's see. In Mordchico, we managed to return. And there's now a new nation they're going to be formed. And it's going to say it's going to be working with Argentina. Yeah, they are kind of familiar. Because we're going to make them more like this pinkish nation here. Since they're kind of like friends with them. So Argentina becomes a puppet. It is kind of like a puppet or not really a puppet. But their companies are their civil and they manage to help it. Its constitution's the same, its culture's the same. Well, not the same culture. Well, the culture, yeah, it is the same. Just different religion. They're founded by them, of course. And they do rely. But in exchange, they also are good at farming. So yeah, so the Argentines and the Mordchicans are both very good friends. And would defend each other anyway, since they got good fields, of course. But anyways, let's try and make this a new color. Let's do like this purple. Now, let's see who's next. The Q Empire, of course. And they build a castle. And there's now something now going to happen. This is going to be called Q Tower 1. Why did they do this on the Tower of... Why are they making a tower at the border of the Grand Crablandia? Well, it's pretty simple, really. The Q and the crabs don't like each other. The Qs don't like them. Now, why don't they? It's because they're too powerful, they believe. They believe they could easily destroy them in case their power of greed can take over anything. Even through these rivers, they believe it's too unstoppable. So now, they're like, yeah, we need to take a tower in case they try to attack us. Because their greatest enemy wasn't this, even though they supported this army right here. This, even though they don't like them. But it's also not this too, since they are weakened. They are weakened. But it's this army is that they're most afraid of. Especially after that union, of course. Now, they just keep their border defended. Now it's Beastland's turn. And yeah, this is not good. Yeah, they're not going out. The Beastland. The Beastland. The Beastland forces believe that they are being betrayed right now. Because this is now a military. They got a split of the north. It got split in two, believing that they are now kind of done. Yeah, that this could become their end. could believe to be their end. And now, Beastland forces are going to try to take over this country. Let's see if it goes. And we got Egypt. They start the age of conflict after a Shah soldier. But now we got the Plankton Empire, and they meet him expand. They believe that this is a terrifying threat to deal with, so they want to try to get rid of it as much as possible. And now with the support, they got heavy support from, guess it, Crablandia. They, after seeing some leaks and photos, they're like, yeah, we need to get rid of this. Even if they do kind of do so, they're just like, yeah, we need to get rid of it. Now the new islands, they're like, yeah, let's get expansion. Now, they began to conquer all these lands right here. And now they just head out to right here, take over all the coast they can, and even manage to interfere with this by crossing these rivers. And now they own all this country, and they get landlocked. Take over Mario City, and now they just have their law. And now Quebec is kind of cooked now. Yeah, they're done. Now we got Crabland. And what did they have? A new nation got formed. Now, what happens? Grand Crabland decides, yo, you know what? Let's form a new nation, because they believe after some crabs decide to leave to here, they decide to go down to Africa. They steal a boat and then just head to Africa, where they met these things. They head to the coast right here, and they want to call themselves the Congo. Congo of crabs. Since they have a lot of great relations with recognizability. It was formed through it's not like Nigeria, the Congo really, but more like a whole coast right here. Yeah, it gets formed in the Congo right here, and right now it'll go through rivers. A river right here, connect to this right here, and manage to just complete this whole series. Any chat? No chat so far. Yeah, they managed to complete this whole nation right here, and managed to complete this whole. It's a combination between Cameroon, Congo, other Congos, of course. Yeah, that's a lot of rivers. No wonder why it's Congo. But anyways, now we got this right here. Got some trade documents. They also push up to to Angola, and is now kind of like this great power now. It's not like, it's kind of like Rome, but more like that. They kind of form like the 13 crabs, like 13 colonies. But now we got this whole new nation. This is the new Crablandia. And it is going to be epic. Now, looks kind of similar to. So let's fix this real quick. So yeah, now that's much better. You know it does match this. So let's fix it a little bit. There we go. Bluelandia is still here. I'm right here. But anyways, we're going to make this map. The Falkland Kingdoms has returned. And now they believe they should try and become a colonial empire. They decided to serve the whole island. Even managed to get many people ended up dying. They did not care. They just head to the coast of South Africa and managed to set up a colony here. They did not care at all what happened. They just successfully managed to gain a colony with probably like 25% of their people gone. The population is probably like 100,000 to 10,000 people. And now they're going to force them to move up here, which now the Falklands are probably going to either get destroyed or worse. But now, more Chico's back. They found a new religion. And let's go and call this. Let's call it Latinism. We're going to make this like a yellowish green religion. Now. Argentina. And now the next nation, Congo crabs. They get a medium expansion. They're going on with the Asian Conference. They believe they are actually Congo crabs. There are some guerrilla warfares, but endlessly they just kind of quit with this whole nation split apart. Now they got Nigeria, kind of. Now Argentina is set up. And they're going to expand. Yeah, I like that we're kind of out of the Americas, North America now. So now there's kind of like no drama. So it doesn't get bored. So now we have now made a new American empire. So yeah, now they kind of now make a more Argentine appearance. And the North pulls back and they got a new leader. But Dad, hopefully this is like Santa and not some crazy dictator. The Plankton Q, what's going to happen? Yeah, they're going to get small expansions. They took Chum City and is now reaching out to take more of the city, damaging some of their property of the Pink Nation, and managed to gain a lot right here. A lot of progress. But now we leave America and head to Europe, where we get a large expand. And they're like, yeah, let's make this like right here. We're going to take some room, but it'll be fine, right? Well, let's see. Yeah, and they decided to upset them by getting all of Iberia. Yeah, this kind of upset them because, yo, we were just friends, but why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? We just signed a pact. We wanted to be chill with you, but you're just deciding to become villains. So yeah, don't expect there to be a team up between Ella and the mob. Don't expect. Florida is going to find a religion. They just decided to abandon it so much. They call this They call this Afro-Trappist. It'll be changed one day, probably. Maybe not. Now, let's see if this works. 1, 5. Now, who's next? Florida's next. And they decided, yeah, we're taking back this land. They take back some of their lands and regain this part right here. And decided, yeah, we're taking your on to exchange. And they're like, no. And now they made this corridor right here. So yeah, grab Claire and Lane is back. And now they're like, yeah, we're tired of it. And they take all of this area. In exchange to take down the Q, they started to take down, to join this fight against the Q. They managed to take out this right here. They managed to take down Minnesota. Yeah, I know the thumbnail is going to be crazy for this. Yeah, I'm probably going to make this like an Avenger poster, of course. Take down Quebec, and then manage to restore all these lands right. Take down Minnesota, and then bam. Yeah, now Crabland is kind of looking more like the United States of America, but not really, since there's no Washington, D.C. Now Bludia, what did they get? Medium expand. Yeah, they start to take over more of Greenland and the Rao River civilization. New nation. Great. Alright. Let's see, there's an orange. Yeah, there's already orange. Alright, let's make it like there's already green. Yeah, let's make it like a yellow. Like more dark. Yeah, let's say it's a new nation, of course. Right. At North Canada. It's going to be called Arctica. Yep, that's Arctica. They took over the Mushroom City, took over right here, and managed to gain all this right here. Yeah, now also I'm not going to add cities or capitals until like the end of the turn. So now it can go faster. So we can just the events. In case they lose a capital, and I won't have to add a middle cities repeatedly. Now, Karma's back, and they get a new leader. And it's Croesus. Yeah, good leader. Good leader. It's the mountains. Now who's next? The North Pole. It's the Age of Unity. Christmas united everyone. Brazil is here, and they decide adopt a religion. And obviously, they're gonna probably adopt. I think they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna try and abandon this old empire, of course, and adopt a new one. So yeah, this kind of upsetted the Wavism community, but at this point, they don't care. They just don't. Yeah, now Florida is kind of now leading into this. Yeah, Jap, Sudan, and Rome are the only cities, along with Egypt. Now, there's kind of some familiar like shaded. Let's make this like an orange. Orange lenient right here. Orange right here. Islandism and Indianism have the same color. Well, so let's change this right here to red. That. Now it's too similar to green India. Alright, if you look at far. I say this looks good for that. Good for that. And this makes this religion the only Buddhism and then Islandism. Yeah, there we go. Now let's see who's next. Central Canada. They're going to unite with a nation. And first of all, obviously these are not going to be it. I'm going to say after a while, Hytale was like, I had enough. I quit. And so Central Canada now looks more big. Now the next nation is California, and they're going to do medium expansions. Now they're going to try and take some of those ruined nations, but although they do took some, the later islands, they did take some, but later they got their ships destroyed in a storm. So yeah, they don't want to try that. But they do successfully try to take that this week. And manage to coast. They take Alaska, but lazily this island right here. And then they believe to try and take them down more. They decided to win enough war against them. Made a tree deal with, well, a deal with the event, well, these nations right here, but that's it. What? That's not me. That's not. Yeah, that's probably the music or something like that. Anyways, headed out. Next nation, the European Union. Yeah, they're getting a small split. And this one is probably the easiest one. It was a supplied rebellion by the Norway. They're called the Norwegian. They believed to become more Dutch than some of these others. Like, they believe they should be joined like forces with like the Dutch instead of like those unions. And so they decided they were going to form the Norwegians. Undercraft Landians or Crusties. Yep, they are the same religion, but they're under United. So yeah, we got Norway now in this series. So we got 4 nations in Europe. And we got the planet of Q, of course. They're going to expand right here. They're going to take some cities right here. They're going to try to fight back. Although not successfully here, they did successfully take back right here. The Pledge of Republic is starting to fight. Now we got Congo of Traps. They get a new leader, Windrain, the Great Desert Nomad. Now we go to Egypt, and they build a castle. They're going to call this Castle of Sat of Anatolia. This is what they're going to call it, since although they respect Rome, they could believe this could be a threat. Now, Beastland returns, and they're going to successfully unite with the Beastland forces, and now finally join the Red Nation, and to try and take down this Q threat. Now Argentina is back, and they get a small expand. They did agree to some deals to make some of the prices more cheaper in exchange for better goods. So yeah, hopefully the farmers don't get exhausted. Now Egypt returns, and they build another castle called Castle of Jerusalem. Yeah, this is now more unique. Let me just figure out what Jerusalem. Let me see what it is. Jeru. Castle of Jerusalem. We're getting more screen time for the Africans and Europeans and the South. Now Karma returns. What's going to happen to them? They're going to unionize. And this won't be a pre-easy union. It will be a union between the mushroom, the Arctica, which I think Plant Code would deny their unionization and join with Mushroom City. Yeah, this kind of ruinations between these two, but let's see what happens. Now, their next nation is Union of Caribbean, and they get a large expand. They now decided, in order to get revenge, they took back their lands. They took Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominica, Jamaica, Zalats, and finally they reached Cuba. They finally took back their old lands that was once theirs. They were once made fun of a lot. They now got back their old lands and have no reason to. They now use those resources to expand more south, conquering the deserts, well, the jungles, of course. And now they reach their peak. Not their peak, but and managed to get revenge on the world. Now the next thing, Egypt. They get a new leader. And they're kind of cooked. Maybe. Probably not, since as long as, but they might go down south more. No. Alright, we accidentally did press this random button, but we'll call this Cleoism. Now let's see who we get. Unity of the Caribbean. They're going to build a castle. Probably a castle right here. It's going to be called base castle of yeah, let's or the CCI. The CCI 1. Cuban Castle Island 1. Next up, Crablandia is back. And they get a large expand. Yeah, we got a lot of Crablandia today. They took the Chumba and managed to reach through here. And managed to get through the Great Lakes. And managed to successfully take over some of these. And is now taking over all the Great Lakes. Let's just do this and let's get some of these curves. And they managed to successfully almost take down the islands. But now they managed to get to their biggest cities. And now the queue is almost destroyed. And just like that, the Planktanian queue decided, yeah, we need to do our last resort. They killed all the planktons. They decided they want to try to get as much as done, get much damage done as possible. So they decide, yeah, we're going to try to kill off the oldest nation possible. Which now makes them more dead. And almost kills off the whole nation of the Plankton Empire. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright. Yeah, they're almost dead. While the Planktanian Republic, although 5, could get damaged heavily in the future. Now, next up, the Q Empire. They start the Age of Conquer. However, now the Planktania Empire, they decide, yo, we need to take back our city. Get our fort back. And then, let's try and hold it off. Right here. Grab a city right here. And he held on. Anyone that tries to get they managed to grab the lake, and then they just stalemate for a while. Grab the coast and hold them off until they can't no more. Yeah, this luckily was a blessing. Now we get to Europe, where we meet the Norwegians. Yeah, they did make a deal. Yeah, they become very good friends with the Dutch because of their interest and motives, of course, which is to take out the European Union. They announced they will help Europe with anything that is pretty much military. Yeah, but I know this poster is going to look very epic. I know it. Yeah, imagine it'd be like Americans assemble. Yeah, Plectania Empire. They're going to found a religion. Yeah, this one is a new hope. They call it Neoplanctonism, which is now removed the belief that they are forever enemies, and now believe they are common allies between the Now we get to a new Brazil. Small expand. They try to explore more down south right here and make sure that they keep it nice and chill. And luckily, they managed to explore more down south. And then the Plectania Empire strikes back again and gets a medium expand. Their now new motives is to try and take down the Plectanian Empire, or the Plectanian Cube. And now, although they do take their one city, they are still now chill, but will still fight those Plectanian republics. Now we head down to the club, where they just take out autograph. So yeah, they are now. Yeah, they are kind of destroying, go back in the way, and not in the good way. So yeah, they almost are destroyed. But we'll see. The more chickens get a small expand. Yeah, they discovered more of the flat planks right here. And now they managed to gain all these lands. They gained all of here and then managed to get now this looks more like a South American empire. Let's now head to Beastland. Yeah, and a new nation gets formed. Yeah, this is now the belief of a new empire. They were like, yeah, we need to stop. They now are called the new Canada Rebels. Yeah, they are now originated through the lands right here. After a while, they have started to try to take down. Their goals is to take down the empire of the Q. And now that is finally the time. They decide they need to work with the Qs. Well, they needed to work together to stop the Qs. With this, many rebels decide to help out. Because they are starting to help out a lot. To take out the Q, they must work together to stop a common enemy, which was the Q. Yeah, they managed to take a city right here, and it's close to the Q. And it's now starting to take down more and more of it. The Q will slowly fall and fall until there will be nothing. And then, in the act of response, they endlessly decide, yeah, we need to stop the Q now and forever. And just about as it was destroyed, the Q side, and now the Q is now fully done. The new Canada Republic will begin. As we see this new Canada explored, we see it now becoming a new entity. Something that came out from the ruins of old and comes out from the tales of new. Yet Canada is now united back once again. And is now a new nation too. And now Europe is restored back to normal. Or is it? Let's see. With the Q gone, now the Americans can now finally rest. But now let's get back to the Congo. Their split will happen now between North and South. It will be called the Angolans. Their belief is that they were betrayed after not many has been gone through. Yeah, and now the Congo is kind of becoming a mess now. So yeah, they also own the rivers now. So yeah, goodbye, Congo. Alright, now the Congo of crabs is now divided in two, which now give us California as its medium expand. Its goal is now to try to take down California, well, Alaska, after a lazy attempt, they said. And now we see it expand greatly again. And there's still a war, so let's get back. Where's the Q? Where's the Q? Oh no. Fruit. There's some pixels I missed. A new leader. The new leader announced the Q Empire is dead. and called Q sites. Their leader, Ergamore, is wanting no part of this game anymore. They will announce departure of their nation. Now, next up, alright. Next up, we're going to change its name. Since the Q tier states are kind of ruined now, we're going to call it Border Chica. Now, let's do this. Also, let me fix. The Q Empire is turned to the Q States. So yeah, there is little to that place left, other than a few ruins. And now they started the Age of Unity. Now, the next 3 turns, Unity of the Caribbean will get a medium expand. Their goals is to try to take down this nation that was destroyed. They took out the canal, and at least for now it was the canal. Took some islands right here. Take some of these lands. And now we got this right here. Norwegians, they're going to unite. Yeah, let's make them unite with themselves, because there's nothing to unite. But why don't they unite with the Dutch? Well, they just like keeping their sovereignty. They don't want anyone else to become themselves. And the Dutch refuse to unite since they're egotistically dominant comparatively. So now we end it with Congo of Traps getting a new leader, Azelius. Now this will be the end. Oh yeah. Save. Year 300. Save. Now, I'm going to make something pretty unique. If you want to play this game, you know what? We're going to make a new, called the Age of Expansion, or Age of Cubes. This is what it's going to be called. And our next one is going to become a new. We're going to be calling it the Age. Because now we got a new age coming, which will start the age. Which will start a new age in this series. Which will start the age of. Which, now that the enemy is gone, be right back. Yeah, I'm gonna be right back, everyone. Or usually. Oh, oh my, wow. Oh, you know what? It's still loading. We're going to exit out. Yeah, we're going to create a new age. Now, after this, I'm going to tell you about tomorrow's age. If there's power coming. And that power we're going to talk about is called the age of fractures. Meaning, we are not, when there's no power against it now, there are going to become powers called the age of separation. Meaning, what does this mean to y'all? So this means we're going to create this means we're going to year 300, and we'll talk about it. We're going to say it's going to become a bigger age than most. Yeah, I might also make a video about it, shorten it. We call it the age. Now, let's see. Yeah, and also sorry for that halftime I had to make. This might have been the longest of them all. So yeah, we got closer now to Europe. So this means for the next one, we're kind of doing something there different. Game settings. There's going to be a lot more medium expands and less large expands. Small expands are also going to be common too, but now there will be more splits. They will double small splits. They will still be there, but compared to unions, it's now going to be they're even matched. And there's going to be less new nations now. These are also going to double. Ports are going to double. Founding religions are going to be less common. And people are going to adopt more religions. Divergent origin, we don't need that. Conflicts, we're going to see more conflicts and division. This is going to be called the Age of Chaos. We're going to call this the Age of Chaos now. For now, it's going to call it the Age of Chaos. And I'll post it on Steam for y'all to play it if you want to. There will be some unity, but other than that, you're cooked. Y'all will play it. All these nations are going to cook. But also, we forgot the results. Here is the results of what the world looks like right now. Yeah, we got all of America filled. Well, North America, not mostly filled. So yes, now there's kind of mostly going to be wars now. There's going to be some new ones right here. As ideas are going to possibly pop up. Egypt probably will become Egypt, Rome, Dutch, French, Norway's. Colonial is still kind of popular in Florida. As it's now limited now. As this is a small colony compared to it. So will there be new nations that will be formed or what? I'll say now. It's not going to be case 6. There's now going to be a war start here. But I've managed to successfully get a war done. We managed to do something like this. We took down the Q, which now immediately, we're going to call it Zack City. Zack City. I might make some new. It'll be called Zack City now. Now we'll do some capitals and fix some things up. Zack City. We're going to delete you as main capital. Let me fix this real quick. And for the rest, it'll be like this here, Zack City. And we're going to change Ottawa into a capital. The Q is also kind of active, but we don't know how active. There's still some states that are still here, but not. And they also kind of push Fluffy Islands back up, but not all the way, since there could be some tension here. But now, this could become a beginning new age. And also, let's make this into a new. Let's also call this Peach Castle R, since now this is a new big areas. Even if they won't take back Mars City, they're definitely going to keep this. In other news, we managed to complete. Yeah, the Red Nation's now a lot bigger now. They unite with the Byzantines, the North Mexicans, and took out their old enemy that killed them in the first place. And now it's gone. And soon their successor will be gone too. That is the Central Union. We got Florida. Well, the only enemy they still have is the Platania Empire, but I think it's going to become a new era. And now that Platanian Empire is now more friendly. Although they would probably want the Chum Bucket back, but that's not going to probably happen. But anyways, let's change the Chum Bucket back. There's Chum Buckets act as a major city. So Plank Box, they instead tried to make their old capital like that. They want to try, and now they also lost their major city as well. The Chum City is gone, and now they're going to make a new city out of it, which is going to be kind of easy, which is Force, going to be called Hytale, which is a new major city they decided to add as their capital. This is now probably a non-recognized city anymore, as the Planktanians are now seen as heroes, and they do not want any ties with Planktania up to make sure this goes better. So Pocahontas, you failed everyone. And now the real Plankton is going to after you. and Picaco is a jump sport. But this is now a pretty big empire. Even if it's not United States big, it's still pretty big. It still has Texas, some parts of Florida, most of the Appalachian, well, past the Appalachian. They got the Krispy Kreme back. We got pretty powerful cities. But now, I think it's time for empowerments. Number one, I think it's kind of like Border Chica. They managed to successfully create this country more and help the country out. That's pretty much successful now. Which we've got its capital right here. Let's call it capital of Argentina. Alright. Buenos. We're gonna call it Buenos. Now, but we'll also make some major cities right here, right here, right here, right here. Yeah, this kind of becomes a successful state thanks to the Border Chicans. As the Falklands, they're kind of made a colony that probably hates them a lot. And why didn't they rebel? Well, the world may never know. But they could soon rebel. But now, let's focus on this now. In the Golden City down south, one right here, and one that they made it a secret capital. Alright, not this one, but one that made a secret capital right here. They call it, they named it after Ica. Make sure that they remember successful. As for this one, they make the major cities right here. So city right here they took. A city right here they took. They managed to get one right here. They get one right here. They're still trying to figure out the comments, but I think we'll fix it soon. There's one right here, and finally their capital, which is kind of easy to take down. It is Action. Yeah, now I think we now got our first African nation. Which is Egypt, which is an independent nation. This one is easy. Alexander. We got some other unknown cities, but it is pretty new, so we don't have to do that. Got one right here, and that's it for now. But surprisingly, we got a lot of unknown tricks. We got one right here. That became full successful states. One in Switzerland. One in Greece. Which they call it the Athens. The Cretes. There's the Bohemians. We're gonna call it the Yugoslavs or something. Then there's some other cities from Rome, like right here, the Roman territory. Now, how did Rome get strongly successful? We do not know, but it was probably because of both the Europeans and the Dutch, most likely. They got one city right here, and then we got another one right here called Rome. So yeah, this is the new map. Oh yeah, there's the Dutch right here. Forgot about them. There's a city right here. City along right here. A city right here. A city right here. And I think that's it. London and Liberia are both capitals. So we got one right here. One right here. One right here. Another one right here. And I think that's all for them. Now we're going to get a dual cap. Well, not dual cap, but more like a city right here. We're going to call this Oslo, since it's probably near Oslo. Not really, but maybe. But we also got Stockholm. We got the Nordic cities. And then an island right here as a major city. They also got this one right here as a major city. And another one. So yeah, Europe is being big. It's going to be big. As for this one right here, we do see some cities right here. Successful ones right here. So yeah, they're a lot of successful states. Now, we got this all. And we're getting a more united Canada after a while. Even though it looks pretty messy so far. So, fuck. Now, for Argentina, we got Brazil, we got the Union of the Caribbean, which surprisingly, they're gonna make a city, capital city, right in the center, a new city called Kara City. And curse will not be important. Sorry, Karis. Caracas. Now, Caracas is now a major city now. We're still keeping these two as dual capitals. The Crusted Towers. Yet both of these cities are working together. So let's make like a new nation right here. Let's make it like more different than the others. Let's make it like a bluish state. Maybe like maybe that's probably better. Now, this is what the new nations look like. We got all of this right here. Now, in its full glory. And now, I'm probably going to make a timestamp since you're probably... I want to make timestamps right now and a new thumbnail. So you got year 300, save. Oh, there we go. And you guys are getting some cold. We might make it an age 1000. So, because that is too soon. That's way too soon. Maybe at age turn 1000, we're going to finally post it. We're going to call this world. Alright, leave a comment down this world below. What should be the Steam name of this map? If you want to see a map, let me know down in the comments. Anyways, we'll go ahead all the way down. Yeah, we'll go try that again, see if it works. Good. Now, let's exit. And now, see y'all next time.